Remember school field trips? For a lot of us, they were the absolute highlight of the school year. You know, a break from the classroom, a chance to hang out with your friends somewhere new. They're always built on this foundation of planned activities, adult supervision, and, the promise of a safe, fun adventure.
But what happens when that safety net just disappears? When a fun day out takes a really dark turn? Well, today we're diving into 3 true stories where school trips went horribly wrong, transforming memories of excitement into, well, chilling tales of survival.
All right, so our first story takes us to the Woodloch Pines Resort in Pennsylvania. It's a quiet November, and a high school chorus class is there for a 3-day trip. For 2 friends, Landon and our narrator, what was supposed to be a really relaxing getaway, well, it quickly became an ordeal they would never, ever forget.
And the really scary part is just how fast everything escalated. I mean, their first day was completely normal. Go-karting, swimming, dinner, just kids having a good time. But by 11 p.m. that night, as you can see, that sense of normalcy was just shattered. And the terror didn't stop there. It came back, and it was even worse on the second night.
So imagine this. You're in your hotel room trying to get some sleep when your friend suddenly lets out a scream. You look over at the sliding glass door, which you guys left open to see the moon over the lake, and this is what you see. A total stranger just peering into your room. They actually ran outside right after, but she had just vanished.
So after that first incident, you'd think they would be on high alert. And they were. This time, they made sure to shut the blinds. But sometime after they fell asleep, our narrator wakes up. It wasn't a noise that woke him, but that deep gut feeling. You know the one where you just know something is terribly wrong? The room is silent. It's pitch black. But some instinct just screams at him to sit up.
And this is the moment of pure horror. He sits up to check on his friend Landon, but he can't see him. Why? Because standing right there between their beds, literally towering over him, was the exact same old woman from the night before. She was inside their room. As he's just frozen in shock, she takes 2 steps back, utters these 5 chilling words, and then just turns and walks out. The casualness of it is what's so terrifying, as if she was just letting him know, not, admitting to breaking and entering. That one barrier they had, it was totally useless. The next morning, they find out the woman is staying in the room right next door with this equally unsettling guy. And even though they reported her, the resort staff wouldn't kick them out. It took a whole lot of arguing between the chaperones and the staff before the school trip was finally and very abruptly cut short. It just goes to show you how quickly that feeling of safety on a school trip can just evaporate.
Okay, our second story now. This one takes us to a 4th grade field trip at a small, kind of rural zoo. And it's a powerful reminder of how vulnerable a child can be and just how fast a predator can act when they spot an opportunity.
It all started with a series of small, completely innocent decisions. The narrator, who admits he was a bit of a loner, decides to use the bathroom without telling anybody. From there, he wanders down this empty hallway, kind of mesmerized by some taxidermy exhibits, and that's when he sees a man who looks like he's playfully hiding, or so he thinks.
The man offers to help him find his group and takes his hand. An 8-year-old would have no reason to think anything was wrong, but instead of leading him back to the main area, the man takes him out a back door, and once they're outside, near the woods, that friendly facade just drops. His grip tightens, and he starts pulling the boy aggressively toward the trees.
Just as he's being dragged away, a scream just cuts through the air. It's one of his teachers. She had noticed he was missing and had been looking for him. Her scream startles the man, who lets go and just flees into the woods. That one vigilant chaperone, she prevented an absolute tragedy.
So the field trip is immediately canceled. The police are called. But the story doesn't end there. As the school buses are pulling out of the parking lot, the narrator looks out the window, and he sees him. The man is there, crouching in the woods, just watching them leave. What a final haunting image of a predator who almost got away with it. For our final account, we're going to join a high school mysteries and mythology class. Their trip is actually designed to be spooky. They're exploring an abandoned village from the early 1900s. But for 2 students who decided to break the rules, the mystery became all too real. The setting itself is incredibly eerie. A road cutting through this dense forest leads to a clearing filled with these tall, decrepit brick buildings. The goal for the students was to use what they'd learned in class to try and piece together why this whole village was abandoned so quickly over a century ago.
So while the teacher is leading the main group, our narrator and his friend Ben are drawn to the most imposing building in the whole village. It's taller than the rest, and it's just calling to them. They find a hole in the ground with a ladder leading down into the building's sealed-off basement, and, well, they decide to go for it.
And their exploration just got progressively more terrifying. The basement was creepy, sure. Old beer bottles, dust everywhere, but when they climbed this rickety, 100-year-old staircase to the floor above, the atmosphere completely changed. It was pitch black, a claustrophobic maze of tiny rooms. The creepiness became just unbearable.
They've had enough. They agree it's time to get out, but just as they make that decision, they hear it. A distinct sound from one of the dark rooms just ahead of them. It sounds like a rock hitting the concrete floor. Now, instead of running, their curiosity gets the better of them. They have to see what made that noise.
So they tiptoe to the opening of the room and shine their phone flashlights inside, and what they see just freezes them in their tracks. Standing just 10 feet away are 3 men arranged in this bizarre formation, silently staring right at them. They weren't moving, just waiting. The boys turned and ran for their lives.
They actually managed to rejoin the group without getting in trouble, their hearts just pounding. But before they leave the village for good, they look back at that tall, forbidden building. And there, in one of the high windows that wasn't boarded up, they see a face looking back at them. A final, chilling confirmation that they were never alone in there.
What makes these accounts so deeply unsettling is that they don't have these neat little conclusions. They end with this sense of profound unease, because we, and the people who live through them, are left with so many unanswered questions.
I mean, who was that woman at the resort? Did the would-be kidnapper at the zoo ever get caught, or did he find another victim? And who or what were those 3 silent figures standing in that dark room? The lack of answers is what really keeps these stories alive in our minds. Ultimately, these stories force us to confront a really difficult question. A school trip is supposed to be a controlled environment, right? A safe space for learning and fun. But as we've seen, all it takes is one unlocked door, one moment of wandering off, or one step into a forbidden place to cross that very thin line into a nightmare you'll never forget.